You got to take it back. You got to take back what you just said.
Oh, you have a chicken neck?
You said I had a bird neck. You didn't say a chicken neck, but now that you said a chicken neck, you need to take back the fact that you said I have a bird neck and a chicken neck, and I'll tell you why. And I'm not gonna raise my voice. Why don't you take it back? Because
you have a neck like a kiwi bird.
I need you to take that back too.
You know what I need you to do on this podcast?
What?
Shut your fucking mouth.
You shut your mouth.
Me and my boy here are going to be talking about some serious stuff.
Chris is my boy too.
I think it looks more like a stack of dimes, his neck.
Hey, dude.
What do you think?
Chris?
Yeah, I could see that. I was going to go with pennies.
Guys,
you know when you get a roll of pennies at the bank?
I was a wrestler.
That's your neck.
This doesn't bother me because I actually have a thick neck.
You try in pictures with fighters count over.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, no, because my neck is expansive. It's athletic. I have an expansive athletic neck.
Hey, I swear to God, you know, yesterday I did that video of you being a prison wizard.
Yeah.
I swear to God, a genuine person DM me is like, hey, listen, I'm a big fan of you and Callan. I follow the show and I see Callan on the video. He goes, he's not looking good. She goes, I don't know if he's not getting sleep or eating. You do look skinnier.
I know.
What's going on?
Well, I'm doing the goddamn. Well, first of all, yes, I have a cold. But two, I'm doing the fucking.
Until she said something, I looked at that video. I'm like, he does look a little drawn out.
I'm looking this.
Are you like this, sunken in?
I know. I'm doing this goddamn.
I hate to do this.
New
I
diet.
hate to do this in front of Chris.
Yeah.
You on drugs, bro?
Look, man, I take the edge off. I'm just taking. I can explain.
Hey, man,
I can explain. I'm doing
the A-list.
No,
circle,
I'm doing
drugs.
the leaf that Chris.
Are you in Scientology now?
I'm doing Lathe.
I knew it.
Kratom.
Leaf.
I don't know why I said that. Leaf. Kratom,
which I could use.
You could use a lot of things, buddy.
Introduce our guest.
a lot of things.
Introduce our
Chris
guest.
Bell.
Bro,
I loved your Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
Thank you.
Love
Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Bigger, Stronger, Faster, which was just an amazing documentary.
Thank you.
How many documentaries have you done to date?
So that was A Leaf of Faith is my fourth full-length documentary.
Right. And you did what between those?
So I did Prescription Thugs was my last one.
Ooh, that was good too. Did you see that one?
I talked about, my drug addiction and also like the addiction that plagues America. A Leaf of Faith also covers that. It's a huge problem.
Don't you in that Prescription Thugs? Don't you relapse too?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I was so bummed. Like he's going through. You're like, oh, he's doing well.
So what happened? And I say it in A Leaf of Faith. As a filmmaker, right? Like, being a documentary filmmaker, you're not a millionaire. You don't make a lot of money. So I'm just cruising along, through life, doing whatever. And I made this, I don't even know what I was going to say there, but I was doing Prescription Thugs, and I relapsed because the money from that was promised for the funding got pulled.
So there's stress.
And when the money got pulled, it was like really stressful. I didn't know how to handle it, so I just went back to doing pills. And there I was calling people on Craigslist at the time and ordering pills from
tough.
Just calling dudes, and they lived in like Sun Valley. So I'd drive from, here, and I lived in Venice at the time, and I'd drive up to the valley, an hour away just to go get pills. And I was getting Xanax, painkillers, you name it, off of the internet. And I'm just thinking like, nobody will find out, right? But it's not that nobody finds out. You just start slipping, and everybody starts seeing it.
They start to see it.
So take me through for a second. Like, so you're under all this pressure. What is can you describe the draw and what the pills do for you? Because I can understand blow. I've done blow. I've done mushrooms. I've done weed. Where there's like, I know that with blow you feel like it just feels so good.
Sure.
You never done opiate, huh?
I've never have done opiates. I know you had an issue. I know you had an issue.
Yeah.
Did you have some?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, take it easy, bro.
Haven't in 4 years, 5 years.
It's a real thing. So obviously, but what is the draw? So what?
It's like an angel dumping.
It actually feels like a giant warm hug. You just feel like cozy. Like
How quickly does that happen?
In like 20, 30 minutes,
It's
but
glorious.
You just start feeling like a little fuzzy and happy, and everybody becomes really nice. You're just happy to see everybody. And it's kind of like that feeling after you had a couple beers and you're at a party, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, I'm all fired up, but it's not the bad part yet. And you don't really get the bad part because usually like fall asleep or pass out by then. But as you go along and you get more and more addicted, you just need more and more pills. And that becomes the real problem, is that you can't keep up with the amount of pills that you need to even feel good anymore.
So you need heroin.
Yeah, so then people go to heroin.
Did you ever mess with that? No.
I didn't, thank God. My older brother, Mad Dog, who passed away, had messed with it. And that's when things went really downhill for him. Was like, that's when it, took a serious turn. Now he didn't die from heroin. He died in a sober living house, and we still don't really know exactly what killed him. We just got a phone call one day that he was dead. So there was no real closure there. There was no real thing.
It really touched me when in the documentary when he started to cry. Remember that when he was? Of course, you remember.
Remember that? What, Chris Farley?
But I remember it really affected me, man. I could see he was having a really hard time, and I think you kind of went, take it easy,
I think to me, like, the greatest thing that I've ever done in my life was put my brother on film, my older brother.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is when you watch Bigger, Stronger, Faster, and you come away from it, there's not one person that asks, like, how's your brother Mark doing? How's Smelly? Nobody asks that, because like, they look at him and they saw this kid who was like connected to what he was doing. He was an athlete. He was, serious about it. But Mad Dog had this struggle that I think so many people have, but they're too scared to talk about. And I think his courage and bravery in that movie, which wasn't to him courage and bravery, it's just who he was never afraid or ashamed to talk about it. He talked about, like, I never noticed. You never know. I might get noticed. He says kind of ridiculous, really delusional things.
Well,
in the movie.
I hear a lot of it. When I watched him do that, I've been in LA a long time, and I was in Venice for a long time.
Sure.
Rough
17
Venice
years.
Yeah.
And I knew a lot, and I worked out at Gold's. I knew a lot of those guys. And when I say a lot. And I spent a lot of time with those guys, mainly because I was a struggling actor. Mm-hmm. And I came here to be an actor and famous and all that stuff. And I saw so much of that, man. And when I saw him, I went, I know so many people. That's the story of Los Angeles to a large extent. And there was such a vulnerability with that guy. It really broke my heart.
Did you feel, because you had a really interesting career, I think a lot of people don't know, like you had a lot of, big things come up and then fall through. And,
a lot of
so
failures.
have you, like, how did you deal with that? Like, how do you get through
I was lucky because I don't have a chemistry that does well with substance. Even coffee and, too much. I'm very sensitive. And that's just luck of the draw.
Sure.
That has nothing to do with self-control. I don't like when people, even my diet. I've always been a moderate person. I'm the guy that can do blow and stop 2 lines in. I just don't have that chemistry. And I'm just lucky. So I had to find other ways to deal with it. One of the ways I dealt with it was to almost quit. Another way I dealt with it was to quietly freak out, wake up and not sleep, but I think I figured out ways to, somebody who was older said, look, this anxiety, these panic attacks, this feeling of failure is just energy. So why don't you take that energy and put it into work? Why don't you take this desperation and this terror that you're going to fail and put it into a story and put it into your stand-up? And why don't you talk about who you'd rather be versus who you are? And that's why I spent, I don't know, and I'm not kidding, 15 years writing 28 scripts, all of which didn't go, all of which were failures.
Bryan's a really good writer. I don't think many people realize that. I also say this about Bryan. Did you hear these stories, especially in LA, of people not make it and failure and stuff like that? The difference between a lot of those people and Bryan, and I don't think Bryan, I do think Bryan's work ethic and some other things is what got him here, but I'd say the main thing that got him here is talent. I got to be honest.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I don't.
Well, I'll never get.
There's a spectrum, and I think there's people who work their ass off. Maybe you could put me on that spectrum, who work their ass off and get to where they're going, and hopefully they get some big breaks. And then there's other people who are so talented, they don't have to do everything right, but there's such a level of talent.
Well, I appreciate that.
John Jones, there's in athletes, there's John Jones.
The freaks.
There's the freaks.
He's a freak
Bryan
mentally.
would be a comedy freak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you. But remember, there was another
Some would
caveat.
say fuck up. No,
yes, but there's a caveat to that. You're right. First of all, I think that it's an important thing to talk about because I was the kind of guy who's never going to give up. I don't give up. I'm never giving up. Like whether it was taekwondo or wrestling or whatever, I just was never going to give up. You're going to have to kill me before I stop. That's how I am. But my work ethic, I self-sabotaged a lot. This motherfucker, watching him, the consistency, the details that he pays attention to, he's unstoppable. I've learned a lot from him. I'm a lot older, but I've learned a lot being friends with him for 5, 6, 7 years now. And if I had been around people like that, I didn't surround myself with people who are that effective and disciplined. I surround myself with people who are broken birds because it made me feel comfortable. Yeah. But I was also full of self-sabotage. I am very familiar with self-loathing, with self-sabotage, with all the things that come with drug addiction. Yeah. I know it very well. So that's why my heart breaks when I see people who had that option. I didn't have that option because it just didn't work for me. It's easy to turn to something else and just go like, this is going to solve my problem. So when you said, like, what does it feel like? Some days it'd be like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I'd be like, I'm just going to check out for today. And I just take a bunch of pills and then like fall asleep. And it'd be like 5 in the afternoon, like the day hasn't even, really started yet. Yeah. So it's like, I would just bury days. I'd be like, I wish I could fast forward to like next month and it could be, because some of these problems will be over and I'll be on to the next thing or, what was your father like? Because for me, the huge part of it is also my father was the most determined person on the planet. My mother, when I growing up, my mother said, your father, when I would go jogging with him, I swear to God, my mother would go, do not run ahead of him because he will keep up with you and he will die. He will have a heart attack before he lets you beat him. That's my dad. And I grew up with that example as a man. And so I mean, she would literally sit me down and get dead in my face. My mother's not a serious person. She goes, do not. Like I don't want to lose my husband. That's how fucking crazy my dad is. My dad was I grew up with that. So what was your dad like? He was awesome. And a lot of times when I stop and think, like sometimes I just stop and think, would my dad be proud of me right now? Like what I'm doing. And the phone call I got from my dad, I'll get emotional talking about it, but he was the one that basically stopped me from doing drugs because he called me and he yelled at me and he said, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you're a drug addict or something. Wow. There's something not clicking with you. I don't know what it is. And I hung up the phone. I just cried for half an hour straight. Yeah. And it was a couple months after that I got sober. There was another person in my life, Peter Berg, you guys might know. Yeah. Pete, great director. Dude, he's fucking awesome. He changed my life too, because he was somebody that I was working with. I did my movie Trophy Kids with. And, and he had told, a producer of mine, like, hey, you guys got to talk to Chris. Like, he's all disheveled. He smells like vodka. Like, what's his problem? He's so fucking talented. And I saw him at the UFC fight, Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, the second fight. And he came up to me and he gave me the biggest hug. And he said, you look fucking great. And like, to me, like I'm getting choked up talking about it. Yeah, I appreciate that. To me, and the other person I saw was Rogan, who I love and respect, right? So it's people like I want to be like that have inspired me back to come back to do these things that I'm doing. And people ask me like, why are you in the gym doing so much weight? Why are you trying to get abs at 45? Why are you trying to do this? And I'm like, because I can, and I'm still alive. Yeah. And I had rolled over and played dead for so many years that, now I feel great. So why not explore these? With your documentaries, you talk about funding. I'm surprised some of these documentaries, when they don't get picked up by Netflix or Amazon, you don't get distribution. Yeah, you get distribution. Do you try and do those deals before you make the video? Yeah, yeah. Basically, like the way that we do documentaries is like you raise some money, you go shoot the thing, and then you sell it later on. But there's the Netflix kind of kills you. I love Netflix. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I mean, how so? They can tell you what the deal is. I'll give you an example. So, like on our movie, I can't discuss numbers, but like on our movie, they're going to have it for 2 years, and it's like which one? A Leap of Faith. Okay, they'll have it for 2 years, and they're paying like a tenth of what it costs to make. Yeah. You know what I mean? For 2 years, and that's like kind of the only big chunk of money. We'll make money on iTunes and other things like that, but after the 2 years, or is it exclusive? After 2 years, we'll have the option to either renew that or go somewhere else. And it's not just Netflix; it's all the streaming platforms, and all that's going to change because people are going to get mad that they're not getting residuals from Netflix. There's going to be, I think, a big
turnover of that stuff, and it'll be easier to make films. But for documentaries, it's really rough.
But you can be on Netflix, you can be on YouTube and everything, right? Selling at the same time. Netflix is an exclusive.
It's hard to sell your movie. Everybody wants your movie for free.
Yeah.
So it's just like the music industry.
They can get it for free.
Almost anybody can get my movie. Like if they wanted to find A Leap of Faith, I'm sure there's torrents out there, people downloading it and shit like that. And to me, I just want people to see the movie, but we obviously want a return on investment, and we want to make money on it.
Well, you're really good at what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, really
you've talked about Trophy Kids on this podcast.
Trophy Kids, Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
Yeah,
all that.
Trophy Kids was a crazy movie.
I got to see that. I've only seen Bigger, Faster.
It's just about parents investing all their time and energy into what their kid does because maybe they didn't do it, or
they're
such
obsessed
a good idea.
with them. And they want their kid to be what they weren't, and it's just
is that the one you were telling me about the father with the daughter who's a golfer and stuff?
Yeah. They're like helicopter parents, and they want the dreams for the kid, but the kid they're taking away their childhood. It's how not to parent. Basically.
Yeah, how not to parent.
Yeah.
Have you seen? Because I've heard when I look at my kids play tennis, and I've looked at the kids that are really good when they're 12, they almost never go on to be pros because they played like that intensely.
The kids in my film all kind of either dropped out of sports. So this kid, Justice, he's a great kid. His dad was just really abusive towards him. And he got a girlfriend and dropped out of football.
Yep.
And I couldn't be more proud of that kid. He's turned into such a great kid. He's on social media, and I see him.
That's cool.
We kind of talk once in a while.
Where'd you get the idea for Trophy Kids? Were you like
my friend Leland? I think you might know Leland. He trained at Gold's Gym too. He's like 6'8". He's huge. He was a basketball player at Michigan. He was my best friend, and I was at one of his practices. He was coaching AAU basketball, high level. He played at University of Michigan, so he was a really high-level basketball player.
Yeah.
He's training all these young kids who are at the top of the league. And I'm hearing him talking to this mom on the phone, and he's on speakerphone. And the mom's like, well, I'm trying to put more weight on him. I got to fatten him up for next year, and we got to get more weight on him. So I think I'm going to hold him back.
Oh,
and he's like, you're going to hold him back in school? She's like, yeah, all the kids are doing it now. It's like, we'll just hold him back a year. He'll get bigger. And I'm watching it going like, she's fattening the kid up for the slaughter, basically. Like this is like an investment of time, money, energy, and focus for this woman that she's putting all of her eggs into this basket of this kid, hoping that he's going to get the college scholarship.
See, for me, unless I got a kid like Shab over here, who very early on is showing that he's faster and stronger, I'm not. Like so much of it is genetic.
How were your parents with it? Were they cool?
Yeah, Lucy, do whatever you want.
He was already looking.
Lucy.
He was already a beast.
But also that what they don't realize is most of the athletes, especially the first round draft picks in any sport, they played everything, man. You don't want to burn them out.
Yeah.
And what recruiters and what scouts look for is a kid who played everything. So they don't like when a kid just does one sport.
Well,
so when they're
James
specializing nowadays, but they specialize nowadays.
Football.
How do you get out of that?
They don't want specializing.
Really?
No.
So how do you get out of that though? When you're playing like on a don't they do that with baseball and all that now?
They don't. They for baseball is a little different because year round, but different type of athlete.
Yeah, if you know Charles Poliquin, he trained I know him. Tons of Olympic athletes, and he just says specializations bullshit. Like that's his.
It's a bad idea.
His quote. It's a terrible
the parents
idea.
who think it's the thing to do and focus on it. It's not the way to go.
And I would agree with that because I've seen way too many kids. They can't do anything really. They're not even really athletic. They can shoot hoops like crazy because that's all they do.
Yeah.
But once you get them on the court to do anything else, like hard to get them to move.
With child actors, because I'm on the Goldbergs and I've worked with a lot of kids, and sometimes Seventh Heaven. When you watch these kids who are Hollywood actors who've grown up acting and they're homeschooled, I'm telling you, dude, watching them try to throw a ball or shoot a basket.
I bet.
And what's really interesting also is I think because they never do a lot of physical activity, they don't really grow. Like their bodies don't. The bodies don't need to kind of respond.
It's a weird world.
It's a really weird world.
To grow up as a kid,
we had to teach this one kid how to throw a ball.
You're kind of isolated, right? You're not.
We had to teach a 17-year-old how to throw a ball.
That's
he was
crazy.
an American 17-year-old, and he didn't know how to throw a ball. And I could not believe it. Good actor, but
I'm sure.
I was like, dude.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, he just never had done it. I talked to him about it. He said, no, I never really did sports.
Speaking of sports, lifting, all this stuff, my brother said...
looking at my shoulders?
No, somebody told me I got comments yesterday.
Yeah.
That you're an undercover powerlifter, maybe?
Dude, you need to know a couple things. One is I work at a Venice Barbell Club.
Oh, you do? Okay. I know
Yeah.
that
2,
place.
I do CrossFit. 3, a box. 3, a box. I got heavy
Why?
hands.
This is the thinnest I've ever seen.
But do you do strength
'cause I'm
training? Is
on
that
a
what you're
diet.
into? Like are you
mean-
really into powerlifting, or was it a joke?
No, I do snatch and clean, and I do deadlift
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
all that stuff.
Awesome. Olympic lifting.
I know, I'm trying.
Good stuff. No, it's great.
Yeah, I need to. I'm because of my psoriasis. I'm on a restricted diet for a month, so I'm probably look skinny. Don't
Dwindling
make
away,
me feel.
man. Do you obviously we're going to talk about the new doc coming out, but do you already have one in the chamber for your next one?
Yeah. So right now, my brother Mark and I are doing a documentary revolving around nutrition. And
How so?
So, these documentaries, they take a long time to like form. That's why I tell people, I don't really know. It's like, you can ask me all you want, but like, what is the movie? I don't know yet, because we didn't really, we're taking the journey now. I'm on the journey now. So right now I'm doing a carnivore diet.
Which is, explain to the listeners.
It's an all meat diet, mostly red meat. By putting red meat at the center of the diet, what you're doing is red meat, basically like the most nutrient dense thing probably on the planet is beef liver, or just liver in general of most animals.
Can't do it.
Has the most nutrients. So if you look at like vitamins, minerals, and macronutrients and everything, which would be like the superior superfood, probably be beef liver. The second on that list is probably going to be beef, like steak. And so when you're looking for nutrients to provide your body, steak has every single nutrient that you need, besides maybe some vitamin C. In the absence of eating glucose or carbohydrates, we don't need vitamin C. So basically, steak has the full profile of everything I need. If I load my body up with that, I'm never hungry. I don't want anything else.
So for every meal, you're just
chunk of steak or a burger patty, things like that. Like, you guys saw me outside of Hop Dottie yesterday. I was getting some burger patties.
So how many meals are you eating a day with that?
Usually,
all beef?
Usually that's 2 to 3 maybe.
And
so not a whole lot.
Is it a ton of calories in those meals?
No, not.
There's a lot of calories in beef, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of calories.
Especially depend on the cut.
A lot of calories in beef. Like, for example, when I went to the place Hop Dottie yesterday, that's probably 2,000 calories. Because it's grass-fed Kobe beef, which is really high in fat. And there's probably like 40 grams of fat, 40 grams of protein.
Have you done your
patty.
lipid levels and all that? Have you?
Done my blood work, and my blood work looks great. My triglycerides were 77. My HDL cholesterol was 77. My LDL cholesterol was elevated, like 305, right?
Jesus.
And people will freak out about that, but the problem is that nobody. That's
like off the charts.
Exactly.
Because when you get to
that's what
165, they're like, hey.
But that's what a doctor.
Right. You got to be a little careful with that stuff.
Yeah.
With the doctor.
The LDL cholesterol number, according to Peter Attia, who I trust more than I trust any other doctor on the planet. Peter Attia is an expert in lipids and keto diets, and he says your LDL number means absolutely nothing in isolation by itself. So what Peter Attia asked me is like, what's your triglycerides and what's your HDL? If those are like 1-to-1 ratio, you're doing really well.
Because mine are really good there.
Yeah.
My triglycerides are really low, and my LDL is good, but my HDL was 160. And they were like, "Hey, man, you got to start thinking about a statin." But I was like, "I feel good. I don't."
Wait, they want to do on a statin with
That's what doctors will tell you, and I didn't buy it. I was like, "I'm not doing
doctors
a statin."
No, I'm not a doctor,
school.
and I don't know a ton about.
How do you feel though doing this? How long have you
That's
been
the
on
biggest
it?
question.
I've been on it for 5 months now, going on
That's a long
6.
time.
And I feel the best I've felt in a long time. Like I said, I feel like I've come back, And so
Well, you also have a condition, right? You have arthritis.
I have arthritis. I have osteoarthritis. I have 2 fake hips that I got 10 years ago. And after I got the hip surgery, I just thought everything was over,
Right.
And I got really fat. I weighed like 260 pounds. Right now I weigh like 190.
Wow.
So you've lost that much weight from this carnivore diet?
Well, from keto and carnivore. So the first thing I did was a ketogenic diet. And so I'll explain, a long time ago when I was a power lifter and I was good and I used to be strong, back when I was 26, 27 years old, I had just graduated from USC film school, and I was going to Gold's Gym every single day down in Venice. So I was driving from actually I was still in USC when I started going to Gold's. It was like 95. And I would drive from USC downtown all the way to Gold's like early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, me and my friend would leave. We'd go train with the big boys down at Gold's, and then we'd go back and I'd go to film school all day. But it was great because it was like this journey into this whole other world. So I would go to Gold's Gym and I'd see Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. And I trained with Mike O'Hearn, who's a natural, so-called natural bodybuilder, but he's awesome. And I trained with him and this other guy, Ron Fedko. And Ron Fedko was a power lifter. He's actually now the head of the computer science department at Stanford. So he's this brilliant guy who was shredded. And he took one look at me and he said, "You're too fat. You need to go on a diet." Like this, like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Chris." He goes, "Hey, I'm Ron. How you doing? You're too fat. You need to go on a diet."
I would like that if someone did
if you want to lift with us, you're going to have to lose weight. You're just too fat.
Wow.
And I'm, holy shit, well, what do you want me to do? And he's like, "Go get some paper and write this down." I'm like, "Okay." So, and he's fucking with me. I go get some paper and write it down. I come back and he says, "Red meat and water."
Red meat and water.
Yeah, I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Is this the guy that did Rogan's podcast?
No, that's Sean Baker. But I'm not. Yeah, Dr. Sean Baker is actually promoting it now. That's Ron. So he's a really smart dude. He actually won an Oscar for blowing shit up in movies. He's the head of the computer
See what red
science.
meat will do for you, Brian?
But anyway,
I'm on red meat, buddy.
He made me go on red meat
It's
and
also
water.
steroids, but
And he was on the juice. Yeah. He told me to go on this red meat and water
all
diet.
the steroids? I mean, no, I'm just kidding. Carry on.
And I went on the diet and I lost weight and I won my next competition. And then I stayed on the diet and I went into the next competition at even lower body weight class. So I was in the 242 class when I started with Ron, and then I ended up lifting at 198 for most of my powerlifting career.
Wow.
Because, he basically took a lot of weight off of me without taking any strength off of me. And I thought by losing all that weight, my strength would, plummet. But I benched over 500 pounds at 200 pounds.
But so, the bigger question though is, with all this red meat and all that, we're also talking about testosterone derivatives and stuff that you guys are all taking, I'd imagine, right? So, when I say steroids, do you consider testosterone and human growth hormone steroids?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a steroid. That's what it is. I think a lot of people...
DECA and there's all the...
A lot of people like to hide behind this TRT or HRT. It's a hormone replacement therapy or it's testosterone replacement therapy. And that's all fine and good. I'm 45 years old. I have no problem taking testosterone. I've been taking it since I did Bigger, Stronger, Faster. I did Bigger, Stronger, Faster to go on a journey to find out if steroids were going to kill my brothers. And obviously it wasn't steroids that killed my older brother. It was other drugs, right? So when I started that movie, I was setting out to find out, like, is this good or is it bad? And at the end, I decided, like, hey, in the right way, done through a doctor, which is the way that I do it, I think that this is very beneficial to somebody with fake hips, with somebody with osteoarthritis.
And when you say this, are we talking about DECA anabol? Are we talking about
testosterone?
Just testosterone.
Cypionate. And just so everybody knows, that's all I mess with. I don't take anything else outside of the realm. And I have tried other stuff. I've tried trenbolone and I've tried, all the different steroids that are supposed to do all these things. And you know what? Nothing beats food and nothing beats hard training and like 200 milligrams of testosterone is all I'm on now.
Yeah.
That probably helps. But I'd say even when I've gone off of that, I've gone off of it for months at a time. I still stay strong. I still stay in shape. I just think it helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the answer. I think the diet and the training are the answers.
Right. Huh.
Hard work.
Yeah. The thing that your documentary showed back then was just that there isn't a lot of evidence that if done, not if you do it, if you're doing it like bodybuilders, there's going to be some issues. I think a lot of those guys have problems.
If you walk into Gold's Gym, you'll see a lot of pretty fucked up looking people from steroids, right?
Yeah.
It's from steroids. Let's be honest.
Anything in large doses, right?
Yeah. The problem too is people will look at those bodybuilders and the guys on Muscle and Fitness and think that's the epitome of health. But actually, I'm sure if you check their levels, it's the exact opposite.
That's more what I'm interested in. That's what my brother and I are interested in now. So, like, when we did Bigger, Stronger, Faster, we're really concerned about, like, being jacked and being big and,
And really, guys only get, I don't mean to interrupt you, but guys only get jacked for other dudes.
Yeah, it's really...
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's really...
No girl's like, oh my God, that guy is jacked.
That's a great point.
I mean, if you're in shape, it's all, you check the boxes for the ladies.
It's the mating, warrior instinct.
No, the only reason you're getting jacked is for other dudes. dude.
It's display. You're displaying
Yeah,
like a
it's
bird, like a
peacocking.
peacock.
Yeah, no girl gives a fuck if you have 21-inch pythons.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I do.
I used to think that when I got up to benching 500 pounds, that like the chicks would just come flocking. And it's like, you
Oh
hit
no,
the
they don't
500.
give a fuck.
Or get into a dance.
so
I
I
always say
go-
get into a dance class, learn how to fucking salsa, and you'll get.
Oh, I know. The girl that I dated the longest in my life, I remember saying to her, like, yeah, I benched 500 pounds. And she just goes, is that good? And I'm like, okay, that
doesn't give a
just
shit.
crumbled me. And like,
Did you break up with her?
that, yeah,
I would've.
that was the reason. No, actually, that was in the very beginning. And that sort of taught me, like, oh, okay. Like,
No, they do it for other dudes.
Yeah, it's-
You know this
doesn't care.
weird strong.
yeah.
silly.
I've seen him in the Mecca in Gold's Gym.
Dude, I was there all the time. My Uncle Pax was the one that brought me in when I was a kid. Mr. Venice, Pax Beal. He was in
Wait, Pax Beal is your
that's
uncle?
my uncle, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So this is amazing. I was on a flight and they were like, ladies and gentlemen, we were coming home from the Arnold Classic. They're like, ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement to make. Mr. Universe, over
Universe.
70,
Yeah.
is on board. Everybody give it up for Pax Beal.
Yeah.
And it was his uncle who wears these outlandish outfits. He's amazing. He's an amazing dude. He just wears like these crazy outfits, big top hats, and he
Really?
goes in the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows
You
him.
didn't tell me that.
He's been around forever.
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah,
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
did he pass?
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago. Yeah, he was kind of like a legend.
Smart guy too,
around,
man. You've read me some emails about
yeah.
him. He's
Smart dude.
special.
Yeah,
dude.
he was around all the
Wealthy
time.
man, too.
Yeah.
He'd wear like the spandex, like crazy colored
Yep.
stuff. Yeah,
Amazing.
But that's what makes that gym tick, man. I love that. Gym
Yeah, I loved
because
it.
of that
I loved
environment
it,
there.
man.
you
Yeah,
know?
I loved it there. The environment, everything. I haven't been back in a while. My problem there, and I'm not fucking Tom Cruise or something, but they'd play the UFC videos on the screen, and then I'd be lifting. People would keep asking me questions.
I could imagine you get killed
So I
there.
was like, ah, fuck,
because
man.
I get killed there too. But like
Yeah.
it's like people want to come up and talk to you about your movie in the middle of a set of deadlifts. It's kind of tough, but most people are actually pretty cool. Like they wait till you're done.
There are a lot of celebrities in there. I
And
used
you
to
know
see
what?
The
To tell you
Rock.
the truth, like with what I do, because I am a documentary filmmaker, it's not like that big of a deal. I love talking to people.
Sure.
So when people are like, "Oh, hey, I saw your movie,"
Yeah.
like that's an excuse not to do a set.
I feel like everybody's seen your movies.
That's
I
I mean,
agree.
you know what I mean? Like
I agree,
Like
100%.
As far as being a documentary filmmaker, you've been wildly successful.
I'm surprised that someone Netflix or someone or Hulu or Amazon doesn't pay you exclusively and give you a like a development deal
You know what's-
and goes give us 4 documentaries.
I'll tell you, like, honestly, I think I would crush people if we did that. The problem is, like, no one's ever offered that to me. But the thing is, like, if I had access, I watch shit all the
your
time where I'm
agent,
like,
bro?
man, I don't have one. That's the thing. So
all right, man. Well,
Hey, Brennan, why don't you go ahead and give CAA a
Well,
call?
I actually do have an agent, but they don't do anything. So that's the problem with this world. It's like you have to hustle and make everything happen yourself in this
Yeah.
world.
Well, that's the
Nobody's
stress
gonna,
too, right,
No
in
one's
this
going to give
business?
it to you. No one's going to hand it to you. So while you say, oh, it'd be great. Like, when Netflix does come calling, it'll be after I do like 2 or 3 more. So it's like, it's crazy how much you have to prove to the world for them to come,
you also got to, they're not out there looking like, oh, who can we throw development deals?
You know what they're
You
giving?
got to bring it to
but
them. We got to make it.
You know where
easy.
they are looking? They're looking at YouTube. They're
YouTube
giving,
Red and YouTube?
They're giving like YouTube people money to
Yeah.
do stuff and stuff like that. I just haven't had any of those things come across the table.
You do need an agent. You need a good agent who is, there are certain agents out there like CAA. and those people.
I have
We'll talk after.
I have
that.
a scripted project coming up that I think is amazing. You guys would love. It's called The Menace of Venice, and it's about Gold's Gym in 1982.
Damn.
When Dan Duchesne got there, who was the steroid guru, who taught everybody how to use steroids, and he basically revolutionized America by this little story that nobody knows about. It was like this guy in Venice who was this guru who knew he went to UCLA library and went through the stacks of books and read every study on steroids that you could possibly read, and he created the underground steroid handbook, and he was the guy, right? So he was the sort of linchpin between all the professional athletes, the porn stars, the mafia, he had just all this, thing. And so I put together,
everybody wanted him.
Yeah, I put together a pilot, and we have some really good people attached to it, and we're going to go out with that next
Is that
season.
him?
I would
Is that
watch it
is
all
that Dan
goddamn
Duchesne?
day.
Now, Dan Duchesne is actually kind of a skinny guy. That's John Romano. He was in Bigger, Stronger, Faster. But see, Steroid Nation, the book right there, I bought the rights to this book. It's by an author, Shauna Sale, who is an amazing author for ESPN. And he wrote this whole book. And as soon as I read it, Gold's Gym, Venice, I'm like, Dan Duchesne, I love him.
Yeah.
And Dan Duchesne was actually the guy who
Well, definitely
was a pioneer of the ketogenic diet as well.
Wow. Everybody I meet who is my age and who does testosterone tells me I'm an idiot for not being on it. And I know
I wouldn't say an idiot. I would say you go to your doctor, you get your levels checked, you see where you're at, and if it's low, you get on it. But I think like if you look at Dr. Sean Baker, who is the guy that talks about the carnivore diet, the guy that was on Rogan, he's 50 years old. He has world records in indoor rowing, like on the Concept 2 rower machine, which is really pretty brutal, as you know. And you know, his testosterone's like 267, I think it was when he tested. Terrible. It's really low.
That's low, huh? Yeah.
But he thinks the same thing. Like he thinks that like with his diet and what he's doing, that maybe he doesn't need a whole lot of testosterone. Maybe he's fueling his body.
I think Callan's testosterone's high, but when you say that, it depends. What are you looking for?
Right, exactly.
Like I don't get what you're looking for. You always talk about this.
I'm a comic.
I know,
what's your goal?
You're an ectomorph, so you're never gonna be jacked. Yeah. You know this, right?
Yeah.
Like you can go to Venice Barbell Club and do it 6 days a week. You're just not.
Like my buddy.
You're also 50.
Yeah, 51.
You seem very healthy.
Yeah, you're healthy.
Right?
You got more energy than anyone I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to fuck with my endocrine system because I feel.
What do you have?
Psoriasis. I have psoriasis. Like that's recent.
And what have you done to?
I've talked to some people who specialize in it.
It's exhausting.
It used to be like, oh, it's your skin. It's something in my gut biome. Something happened where it was antibiotics or whatever. Where
Recently,
my gut biome
have
was
you
off.
Consulted anybody like about your diet?
Yes.
And
I'm working with a guy now.
Have they changed it and stuff? Because I think a lot of
do you know Andy Galpin?
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah, that's who's got me.
I love him.
Yes, he's amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go speak at his class.
Okay.
And he came to the premiere of my movie.
Yeah, he's legit.
Guy. Yep.
And so Andy has me working with the dude.
I'm just making sure you know, because I'm like, oh, you could fix that.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah. You mean my gut biome? Or,
yeah, well, everything.
Psoriasis,
yeah. Like, listen, almost every problem. This girl at the gym was telling me, this girl, beautiful girl at Gold's Gym, and she was telling me yesterday about how she just feels bad because one thing that she can't fix is acne. And I'm like, well, you can fix acne.
He goes, she has diarrhea.
maybe.
I hate those dumb comments.
It's so stupid.
But the one thing that, she thought she can't fix is acne. So it's like, you just Google, you Google diet and acne and you'll find a link between nutrition and a lot of shit, right?
Isn't there a lot of sugar, dairy?
Yeah, and it's not like foolproof. It's not like everything can be cured by
Everybody's
nutrition.
Different, right?
There's also Accutane and Proactive and shit now.
But what is your take on nutrition after all these years?
After all these years, I think
for a man who eats 70 pounds red meat a day.
I was going to say.
No, I don't recommend that for people. I recommend, I think that for most people, a diet that is high in nutrients is what's really important. And nutrients are really found, the nutrients that our bodies can absorb really well are found in animal proteins and animal fats. So they're in the animal meat, right? And if we don't eat the animal meat, we're just not going to get that. So regardless of what your ethical concerns are, we can take that off the table. Like, that's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm just talking about for being as optimal as you can be, being as strong as you can be. I would say, put the animal proteins up front and the animal fats. Like, I just say like I do. I use steak. I'd say grass-fed beef, something like that in the sort of at your center, and eggs. I love eggs.
Yep.
I think there's not really too much issues with eggs for most people.
Yep.
And also, like, we are all different. Like, some people can't tolerate meat, but we find that the people that can't tolerate meat are it's a very, very small amount of people.
But what about, why do I hear dairy's always demonized? Like,
it's demonized a lot, but I think it's yeah, I think it's a little bit unfair. Because we say, people say, well, look.
Oh, that cracks me up.
Milk protein. Milk is for babies. Real men drink beer, right?
Yeah, there you go.
And that's maybe a reason. But also, a lot of people have issues with it. Yeah. A lot of people have skin issues. They have just all sorts of different issues with it. I eat a pretty low dairy diet. I don't eat a lot of cheese, and I don't eat a lot of dairy stuff. But I feel like it's okay for a lot of people, and for some people it's just not,
Right.
For some people it actually helps them get through the diet. Like, there's some people that are used to being, let's just face it, like, I was fat my whole life, so I can say it.
Preach.
Some people used to being a fat guy. I have fat guy mentality. So when I eat something, I want bacon and cheese on it and avocado smashed in it and everything. So
that guy likes his
But I have a fat guy mentality, and a ketogenic diet, there's a lot of people that'll hear me talking and they'll be like, this guy's full of shit. It's not good for everybody and blah. Okay, whatever, right? I've studied it enough to know that there are healthy ways to do things, and there's unhealthy ways.
But I also say, I always say this with Bryan, where with diets, like, this is what works for me.
Exactly.
It might work for you. I don't know, man. This is what I'm doing, and I see great benefits from it.
And Brendan, that's the disclaimer I was trying to throw out there, so people know that, like, yes, not every diet is good for everybody, but there are a lot of things that we have in common that we can talk about, right? One of the things that we really need to look at is processed carbohydrates. That's usually the problem in most people's diet. Anything that comes in a box, bag, or can is probably not to be consumed by humans, right? But everything we eat comes out of a box, bag, or can nowadays. So we have to try to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know, try to eat from nature as much as possible. I really don't think there'd be a lot of obesity on the planet if people just ate what came from the earth and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? So regardless of carbohydrates or macronutrient intake, I don't think you need to be 70% fat and 0% carbs in order to get lean. I think you need to be 0% bullshit. And you need to be...
Yeah, my buddy Tariq Azim he went to Afghanistan from 2003 or 2004 to 2008. And he was in Afghanistan, and it was during the war, but he was eating the food, like he would get his dairy from the cow right there.
Yeah.
And he was eating the food that was there. They'd make the bread by hand and the rice. And he said in 4 years, 5 years, he never had a fucking cold. Like, in all the stress and all the insanity, he never got sick once. And either did anybody around him. He's like, the one thing I'll tell you is that as fucked up as that place was, nobody was sick.
I do even think that stuff like bread could probably be healthy if it was not preserved for, 6 years.
Well, the way they make
There's some sourdough bread. Like, if you go to Justa in Venice, they make it every morning. It's like,
and we know the problems with wheat. You know, it's like there's been extensive whole documentary on what's with wheat and all that stuff. There's a lot of issues with like wheat and grains that people have, and like, so that's another thing to consider.
It's also the type of grain that's grown with Roundup and different things. It may be that it's genetically engineered so that our body isn't recognizing it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, there's some work on Holstein cows, American Holstein cows. For whatever reason, the way they were bred, they produce a protein called alpha-casein A1 that European cows, goats, and sheep produce alpha-casein A2. And that protein, because it's been around long enough, our body absorbs it better.
Yeah.
So people say they're lactose intolerant. You might be actually intolerant to the protein from Holstein American cows.
That's totally true. And that's the same with like egg whites. Some people have a problem with the protein in eggs, not the fat.
Because it's fed corn and soy, so if you eat pasture-raised eggs...
Remember when bodybuilders just ate egg whites?
Yeah, egg whites, right? It's stupid.
It's hilarious. My Uncle Pax did that.
It didn't make any sense, right? Because you're just eating the protein.
They just didn't know.
Should be eating the yolks.
They thought all the fat was in the, which it is.
And that's the other thing people need to realize is there is no 0, 0, 0, I can't say it enough, correlation between the cholesterol you eat and the cholesterol in your blood. The people that when we have people keep saying that you can't eat eggs because they're high in cholesterol, like, that's hurting people, because cholesterol is what testosterone is made out of. Cholesterol is what our hormones are made out of. We need cholesterol. We need eggs. We need butter. We need these things. We don't want to get rid of it all. We want
precursors.
Yeah, we want to eat these things.
Eat eggs and get a boner.
Eat eggs. Eat avocados. Eat coconuts.
Called boner eggs.
I think. I just think that.
I'll take my egg. Yeah, go ahead.
The more energy we put in, the good energy we put in, the more good energy we're going to put out, right?
So take me to Leap of Faith.
Sure.
So now you're on these opiates, you have arthritis, you can't stand up, you got all these fucking problems, you go through rehab, you relapse, and then you come across a leaf.
Yep.
And somehow this leaf doesn't seem to have any side effects, addictive properties, but it works really well.
It's an interesting story. So I have a friend named Horseshoe, who is a former
we all do.
pro wrestler.
Horseshoe?
If you live in LA, you have a friend named Snake Eyes, Horseshoe.
Yeah.
There, people come and reinvent themselves. I knew an actor named Mercury. He used to wear scarves in the middle of the summer.
Probably not getting a lot of gigs.
A dick. Yeah.
Well, Horseshoe was nicknamed by a stripper. She thought his hair looked like a horseshoe. So that was like his thing. But then when he went to WWE, so I used to work for WWE as a writer.
Oh, wow.
And I met Horseshoe through that, right? Through like, there's a farm league out here. We got John Cena into the mix, right? And my brother and I, we were like very instrumental in getting him involved in wrestling.
He was a Gold's Gym guy.
Yeah, he worked at Gold's Gym with us.
Let me ask you this. You being a writer there, and then we're going to get into Leap of Faith, but how the wrestlers...
It's pre-planned.
Well, I'm saying how the of course it's not real, but as far as the supplements that they're on.
Yeah.
Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, nowadays they have to be clean. Nowadays they test them. So they actually test them. Hey, give me a look. They test them for anabolics. Now, is everybody on the testing list?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because, some of the people own
funny when you see someone get busted.
Some of the people own the company that are pretty jacked. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
you think Vince McMahon isn't,
Brendan, what?
But see, wouldn't that fall under hormone replacement?
Yeah, it would.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But it's funny how you're talking about Gold's Gym and John Cena, because I'm old enough and I was working out when John Cena was working at Gold's Gym.
Yeah, and people don't believe that.
He was at the desk.
But so my brother and I saw him, and when you saw him back then, you were like, "What the hell is this guy? He's got to be something, right?" Like that's what my brother and I
biggest
thought of
hands
him.
and wrists.
Yeah, and we said we got to do something with this guy. We got to, And so we just kept talking him into going to wrestling school. And then when he went to wrestling school, he ran the ropes back and forth, took one bump on his back, and said, "I'm going to do this for the rest of my life."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He just knew it. He knew like he's
a superstar, and he's blown up acting too.
He owes me some money. No.
Yeah.
Nah, he's always been. To tell you the truth, when my brother passed away, the biggest bouquet of flowers came from John Cena. John Cena paid for the expenses of my brother's funeral. Oh, wow. That's how fucking cool he is.
What a great dude, man.
You know what I mean? Like when you really need somebody. You know what I mean? My parents weren't doing good at the time. Yeah. So when you really need somebody and they come through like that.
Yeah, that makes me like him even more.
That's huge.
He was so nice.
He's also done the most Make-A-Wish Foundation than anybody in the world, even more than The Rock, who was the runner-up, who also is just a great guy.
Do you know what I asked him once? You're going to love this. I said, I need shorts. I wanted to get some shorts that were like fighter shorts.
Yeah.
And he kind of walked me over and he goes, well, I think he'd been in the posing room or something. He goes, there's a posing room, right?
Yeah.
There's a posing room.
Come on, man.
And he goes, I just remember him saying, none of the shorts there fit me because I got my ass and legs are just fucking huge.
He never got into, he has the body for it. He never got into bodybuilding, huh?
He did get into bodybuilding for a little bit, just did a couple amateur shows and, did pretty well. But I think that his calling was wrestling. I think that was made,
amazing.
It was made for him. I know his trainer is Rob McIntyre. And he's been friends with John since he was 15, and you'll hear him tell stories about John when he was younger, and you knew he was just like destined to be somebody. Yeah. Like everybody at school knew John Cena, and they would talk about him like as if he was famous since he was 15. He was just one of those people that has a great presence, you know, and I think
he just has the it factor.
But yeah, so going back to horseshoe and wrestling and all this,
leap of faith,
all this stuff,
that,
right?
Yeah.
So in wrestling, painkillers are a huge deal. Yeah. My brother obviously was addicted to painkillers. I was addicted to painkillers, but in pro wrestling, it seemed like everybody was addicted to painkillers. My friend Horseshoe was taking 90 pills a day.
Wow.
And
Horseshoe.
I mean, I would be at we'd be at Baby Blue's barbecue and he'd just pass out on the table. And we'd wake him up when the food would get there. And he'd wake up and he'd eat and then he'd go just doze right back off. And we're just used to it. It's his Horseshoe. He just does that shit, and
damn. So,
he had gotten sober. Well, he had a massive stroke. Oh. And it was about 5 or 6 years later, I'm, still friends with him and everything. And
how's he doing now?
Well, he was doing amazing. And I'm like, dude, I don't understand this. You're back to normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had a stroke.
How old was he?
I want to say 37 at the time, maybe.
Not a good age for a stroke. Yeah.
And so he had this stroke. He's about 45 now, 46 maybe. He had this, so it was more than that, maybe 10 years ago. He had this stroke anyway. And he was doing really well afterwards. And he's like, I think it's the kratom, And he's like, have you tried kratom? I think you'd really like it, And I'm like, what's kratom? And I had heard of it. And actually, when I was doing Prescription Thugs, I had actually tried it, but it didn't do anything. Yeah. And my intention when I tried it during Prescription Thugs was it was during the time that I relapsed. So I was actually trying to get it to see if I could get off those pills or to see if it made me high, to see what I felt from it, right? And I remember getting kratom. I took 7 pills at once. I'm just going to load up. This shit's going to be great.
The extremist.
I took 7 and, nothing happened. So there was only 3 left. I bought a bottle of 10. Figured, well, I'll take the whole bottle. I'll take all 10. So I take the 3 more. Nothing happens. So to me, it's a wash. It's worthless, right? But for some reason, when my friend brought it back to me, years later, And I tried it, and my intention was, like, I'm in a lot of pain right now. My body really aches, and I took it. All of a sudden, the pain was gone. And I don't know if it's because it was a different kind of kratom, a different, thing. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, well, this is weird, because like last time it didn't really work for me. And so I tried it, and it took me about 3 or 4 months.
You took it skeptical, so
very skeptical.
The placebo effect isn't as strong in that case.
Took it very skeptical. Yeah. And then, I don't know, like, I have chronic pain to the point where it feels like I'm paralyzed from the waist down. Like I can't bend at the waist. I just get really, stiff. And I was really stiff. And after I took the kratom, I wasn't stiff anymore. And I'd be like I was stomping on the ground, trying to go like, it's got to hurt. Like it's going to hurt. The pain will come back, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make it, come back, and it wasn't coming back. And so after, a couple weeks of taking this and being able to move better and going into the gym and like going to do a squat and it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I can squat again. Maybe I can deadlift again. Maybe I can do some of these things that I haven't done in a really long time again. Started doing that. And then, one thing leads to another. You start getting in better shape and you feel better. So it becomes a snowball effect. And so for me, it was just like this great snowball effect that started me on a path to getting back in shape. Starting on a path to get back to health. And what also happened was in between this, I was on Dr. Drew's podcast. And Dr. Drew had brought up to me, hey, if you take Advil and Tylenol in combination, it's actually been shown to be more effective than opioids. And so I'm like, oh, that's really interesting.
Advil and what?
Tylenol.
And Tylenol.
In combination.
What's the difference? One's ibuprofen and the
one's
other's
acetaminophen.
Okay.
So
both bad for your liver, though, right?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. That's great and all. And I started doing that for like 6 months. And then I got a phone call from a friend who lives in England, who was a bodybuilder, who said he was taking so much Advil that he had to have a kidney transplant.
Jesus Christ.
And he said,
how much was he taking?
About 20 a day.
Oh, well, there you go.
He was a bodybuilder. And he was taking opioids, and he got off the opioids, and then he was taking, you're in a lot of pain. Yeah. So I was taking 10 Advil and 10 Tylenol a day. So to me, that scared the shit out of me. And he said, hey, I've had a kidney transplant. But then I found another guy, Tom Prince, who was a pro bodybuilder. He told me that his kidney transplant, was due to NSAIDs as well, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. I've listened to Rhonda Patrick on Joe Rogan's show talk about the 16,000 deaths that we have from Advil and Tylenol and things of those nature.
16,000 deaths
a year.
Right. And
also how it disrupts your gut microbiome.
Yep.
And it's what's called, don't laugh, a COX-2 inhibitor. And a COX-2 inhibitor, because it blocks, because it is that raises your risk for a stroke or a heart attack it doubles it.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So the FDA has put a warning on ibuprofen.
Seen it. Yep.
Right? That says it's a COX-2 inhibitor and it could cause heart attack or stroke, right? And now we find this leaf kratom that exhibits similar effects in pain relief, but it's a natural plant. It doesn't have all these harmful chemicals in it, and we're not seeing the same issues that we're seeing with ibuprofen and Tylenol.
Aspirin is also derived from plant, from bark.
Yes.
From what kind of bark?
White willow bark?
White willow bark. Mm-hmm. So, and that was the miracle drug. But aspirin also causes stomach bleeding in large...
Causes some issues.
Yeah.
And we don't know yet if kratom causes those issues. I have a feeling that it doesn't. It works on the mu opioid receptor, so it actually is an opioid. And that's one thing that...
It is an opioid.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think people in the kratom industry wanted to go like, it's not an opioid. The FDA is crazy. All an opioid is, by definition, is something that works like an opiate. So like...
Was a poppy seed an opiate?
Well, technically, an aspirin could be called an opioid, right? Because it works like a painkiller, right?
Well, it thins the blood, right? It thins the blood out.
So it's like, but it's kind of subjective what you call an opioid. Is
but
what I'm
do we know
there's levels to this opioid game?
When you take kratom, it brings down inflammation? Is that a measurable?
Yeah,
phenomenon?
so I think kratom works on pain receptors. So it works on your brain. It works on the pain receptors in your brain to sort of send you a signal saying like, hey, I'm not hurting as bad as you think I am, right? Which for people that are in extreme chronic pain like me, that's huge. But I think the other thing that people need to do on the other side of it is take something like curcumin and take something like maybe CBD oil.
These are anti-inflammatories?
They're anti-inflammatories that are also natural.
Yeah.
So I think in combination, you're looking at a double whammy. But for me, just taking an anti-inflammatory doesn't do it. I need to take something to take the edge off the pain as well.
So no studies have been done yet on kratom, whether or not it has liver toxicity.
Not a specific safety study like that, but it's been used for over 200 years.
It has
in Thailand.
It's a long time.
Oh, in Thailand.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
It's a long study.
It's been used forever, and any of the.
So is it from a tree in Thailand?
Where can you get it?
So it's in the same family as the coffee plant, right? And it's called Mitragina speciosa is the name of the plant.
I know.
And
I've seen many of those.
And so what?
Mitragina.
Yeah, Mitragina. So basically,
he has a Metrogina.
Metrogina.
You ever see a shoe collection?
Yeah. So this
Metrogina.
This plant.
Shut up. Sorry.
This plant.
We're 10-year-olds.
Is like I said, like a coffee plant. It's in the same family as a coffee plant. They think it's about as addictive as coffee right now. So
pretty addictive.
That's addictive to me, but no, I'm kidding.
Yes.
Addictive. Yeah.
Yes and no. Do you like? I mean,
now I can go without coffee.
Yeah,
I
like
can't.
if you don't.
I can't.
Because you're weak. Because you're weak-minded.
I would drink. Brian, look
you have
at
no
your body
right
now.
You have no character.
You look like Tom
I have
Hanks
a
from
good body,
Philadelphia.
dude.
You
I
look
have a
like
good
shit.
body.
I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do
I'm
this
wearing
front of
baggy
Chris.
clothes, man.
This is the worst I've ever seen you
That's
look.
bullshit. Because I have a little
swear
bit of
to
a
God,
cold, and
even Chin said,
I ate
you
a
left
lot.
yesterday. Chin goes, "Is he all right?" I went, "No."
Damn it, Chin.
No.
Chin.
He went. I went. He's not.
I
think he has a drug problem.
I have.
And this is why I brought Chris in, because I want to have
counseling.
This is an intervention.
It's an intervention. Ah, shit.
Your fallen presence
mornings are rough
affects
for me.
in the fallen ways.
You know what?
Let's
I
talk
did
about these baggy
This
clothes.
is what a pussy I am. I ate a lot of Chipotle last night, and I woke up at 4 a.m. like, I'm full. That's how delicate I am. I
don't
can't sleep.
care.
No, I'm saying I'm weak that way.
Chipotle.
Yeah, so I can't. You can take a bunch of pills. If I eat too much before I go to bed,
giant burrito.
Yeah.
Did Andy Galpin tell you could have that?
No, I didn't have it. I had rice, white rice.
Oh, okay.
Pork and black beans. That's
I'm
it.
just making sure that you're on Galpin's plan.
No.
But if I want kratom, where can I get it? Do I have to have a prescription?
You calm
or no?
down, dude.
No, kratom you can get.
I'm sick of your diet, man. When I say
down.
this, I speak for all the. We're
No, I'm
of
teaching
your
people.
psoriasis
That's
diet.
bullshit, because I get a lot of people like, thank you, you're the light. Listen,
you're
you
the light.
calm down about your fucking kratom. Look at him. Why are you shaking, dude?
He's scared.
I'm not shaking.
Yeah, you are, man. You want kratom.
Hey, no, seriously, you got what? Hey, whatever diet you're on, you've got. Listen to me. You've got to switch it. You're in show business. Your eyes are sunken in.
Shut up.
You look like you haven't slept in fucking
Well, I'm a
days.
little tired.
I'm tired too, man.
I've been traveling a lot, bro.
Me too, man.
No, not like me. I've been taking 8 planes.
Yeah, you have. We got to chill out on that.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. Keep going.
Sorry,
Sorry, man.
Where were we?
About
kratom. I was asking
it's in
where
Thailand.
can
where to
people
get
it? And
Yeah,
like,
right.
do I have to have a prescription?
No, that's the
do
beauty.
Do we have to go dark web?
The beauty of it is you don't need a prescription. You can get it online. You can get. So here's what I think is a problem. Right now they sell it at smoke shops, right?
The Wild West, right?
And smoke shops are not where I usually get my supplements. You know, I don't walk into Joe's smoke shop and go like, hey, where's the vitamin C? You know, like
Right.
it's just not a place where I normally would go to get it. So. You know, and most normal people aren't going to want to walk in. You know, you got a 60-year-old woman that needs kratom. She's not going to walk into a smoke shop and get it. So I think that's a huge problem. The reason why it ended up in smoke shops is just because smoke shops, like you said, are the Wild West and they let them sell everything. So it's sort of been in this gray area of the FDA for quite a while.
Right.
Right now it's completely legal in California. It's been banned in 6 or 7 states, but that's actually coming back the other way now. They're starting to repeal these things because they're realizing well, shit, we just approved marijuana, but we made kratom illegal. That doesn't make any sense, right? So people are starting to realize that this doesn't make much sense to be illegal. But you can order it, on the internet. Like the place I get it is the company I use, Urban Ice, Natural Organics with an X on the end.com. And I just order it from, you just order it from there.
And how much is it? Is it really expensive?
It's like an average price for a normal supplement, like $50 a bottle, $45 a bottle.
Pretty standard.
Like pretty standard price. I think
I'm
it's
surprised you don't get in the business.
about
You're such an advocate. I'm surprised you don't.
70 or 80 cents a pill. Well, my brother and I formulated a version of it called Mind Bullet. And we're going to sell it, but I wanted to wait until the movie's out. I want to wait till the movie's out for a while. I don't want people thinking that I made a movie to sell kratom. because I didn't. I made a movie to help advocate for kratom.
It sounds like it helped you a lot.
And it helped me a lot. And
It's also educating people.
I know it can help
That's
a lot
the
of other
biggest
people,
thing,
and that's why we want to put it out. And my brother and I look at it a little bit differently. We call it Mind Bullet because for me, it just makes me focus and it makes me feel really good. And so if I just take 2 in the beginning of the day, I feel great all day. And I don't see why everybody else wouldn't want to feel that way too. So that's the way we look at it.
Do the Thai people, have they always taken this? Has this been something?
So like in Thailand, it's just like a natural, normal thing. So, you'd wake up, this is like, housewives would do this. They wake up in the morning and they walk outside and they'd pluck a couple leaves from their kratom tree and they'd throw it in a pot and they'd boil the water and they'd make this tea and they would just drink that throughout the whole day and feel really good.
So have you heard of GOT?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so in the Middle East, and like in Somalia and places like that, and Yemen, they chew GOT all day long. Do you know what GOT is? You ever heard of GOT?
No.
Look up GOT. GOT's a narcotic so this is very common. Like these kinds of leaves in a lot of cultures, they will, and it's essentially
chew it all day, right?
It's a chew. Yeah, it's a mild. There it is. It's in Pakistan. It's a mild kind of sedative that people just chew literally all day, and their mouths turn green. And then there's betel nut, which is a whole different.
Now, does anything happen when they eat this? Like, I mean, do they get
what happens is when you chew it initially, nothing happens, and then as you chew it, you will get sort of a buzz, to the point where I think in
tobacco leaf.
Yeah, so to the point where in I think in the Eritrean War between Ethiopia, the Eritreans waited till like the middle of the day because they knew the soldiers would all be high on GOT, and then they invaded.
Oh wow!
So they're like, oh fuck! It's like smoking weed basically.
Yeah, and I think
they like when you go there, because I lived there, it is so prevalent. Like almost everybody you see is chewing on it.
Is it addictive?
So
yeah, basically, it's a very mild. It's a mild.
It's probably very similar to kratom. Like it's like a little bit addictive.
Yes.
So here's the deal with kratom.
That's why I'm wondering if it's in the same family.
Kratom has like 43 or more alkaloids in it, and the doctor studying it the most is Dr. Chris McCurdy down at University of Florida, and he's basically been studying it to like against methadone. And you can stack kratom right up against methadone and right up against Narcan, and it has the same sort of results for getting people off of opioids, right? The same sort of time span that it takes to get somebody out of withdrawal, right?
Wow.
So we know like all the firefighters are carrying Narcan now, which is it's a drug, right? It's kind of amazing that we have a plant that can do a lot of the same things, but nobody's willing to study. I mean, we live in such a backwards, messed up country when it comes to nutritional studies and supplement studies and the things that we look into. The problem with kratom is there's no huge like money, if there was some huge like money person behind it that said, hey, let's go do all the studies. Like there's not money to do all these studies. And that's a big problem. So with the movie, we actually raised some money to do some more research with Chris McCurdy.
Research is hard when there's not a lot of money. Like, do you know, according to the Harvard Medical School, I think her name is Wendy Chen. So what do you think is the most effective to date, the most effective measurable prevention against recurrence of certain breast cancers and colon cancer? What do you think is the one thing you could take that has been proven to be insanely effective, and yet they can't get any studies?
I don't know.
Aspirin.
Oh, wow.
A daily aspirin regimen is highly effective, according to the Harvard Medical School and this woman's research.
To prevent it, not once you have
it. So when you get it, and then to prevent a recurrence of it, one of the greatest things for the prevention recurrence that has been measurable is aspirin. Now,
not enough money behind it.
The aspirin's already on the market, so you're not going to get a pharmaceutical company to sponsor a very, very expensive study.
Aspirin reps.
Yeah, because it's already there.
Yeah.
So and you can't patent it. You can't do anything.
Right,
You'd have to make a new delivery system, like sprayable aspirin or
something like that. And so that is the problem sometimes, that there are treatments
that already exist. And there's money behind it.
And it goes back to Andy Galpin. I mean, I've gone to 5 of these like the skin people, and they shrug and give you a cream. Yeah. The truth is that there are limitations to so much of this. Of our pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, and if you want to be on the cutting edge, you can't wait around for research.
No.
So something that Charles Poliquin, the strength coach, taught me that I thought was awesome. I was actually interviewing him a couple weeks ago for our nutrition thing. And so I was asking him some questions. I'm like, yeah, but there's no research on that. And he's like, you think if I'm going to train Olympic athletes, I sit around and wait for the research to come out? Like I come up with a training technique, right? And I'm like, I think this will work really good. And we try it a bunch, right? I'm not waiting for a study to be done on it. I'm just going to do it.
Well, he also
if
reads
there's a drug or a supplement. I'm just going to take it.
Charles Poliquin has more Olympic gold medalists under his belt than anybody else. But he also reads.
He has a library bigger than anybody. I guess,
he reads everything on PubMed.
Yeah, everything.
He reads everything that's ever been published. And he's such a maniac that he's like, when he talks about meat, he's like, well, my favorite meat comes from Canada. There's a certain axis deer that runs from wolves. Yeah. It runs from wolves all day. This is how crazy he is. He goes, and the best meat for me, it's like a meat fudge. I mean, he's from Canada. He's French is his first language. He's like, there's an axis deer that runs, it's a part of Canada. You cannot get there. You must shoot it from helicopter. You must shoot it from. Now they run from wolves all day, and what that does is it creates a lot of glycogen in the meat, so the meat's sweet.
Yeah.
And there's only one place in Toronto you can buy it. Yeah, I know.
How expensive is it?
There's one butcher. There's one fucking butcher.
One guy. Yeah.
There's one guy. So of course he goes there and gets his meat there. Yeah, he's a maniac.
Is he on the same diet as you?
He mainly eats a meat diet. So Poliquin's main thing,
eggs, meat.
He's always taught to athletes was meat and nuts for breakfast. He says that's like high-powered breakfast.
Yeah, cashews,
just have
butter,
a handful of some sort of nuts, and then to have some meat or some eggs with it, and that's like the high-powered athlete breakfast. He's been around for a long time. I think most of the stuff that my brother and I do come from either Louis Simmons, who's the powerlifting god, or it comes from Charles Poliquin, who's like the bodybuilding sort of expert. And we like to do that a lot, Mark and I. We find a couple people that we really like, and we just sort of pick their brains.
My question, though, to you is, when you have Charles Poliquin, these guys are dealing with athletes who are taxing their bodies on a high level all the time. I wonder how that works for a guy like me who's a civilian who works out once a day.
I mean, look, an athlete can just handle a lot more. Brendan can handle way more than we're ever going to be able to handle because what he's done in the past.
But now, though, he works out, 40 minutes a day, and his lifestyle is.
I think it's in his DNA.
Oh, yeah.
I think, for athletes, I think it might. Yeah. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Do you think you could ever be I don't know, if something happened to you, maybe you're not going to be he's not going to be weak and frail if he doesn't lift.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that I wonder if those diets that are all meat work for people that are taxing their bodies on a level that athletes are. But then when you retire, well,
I'll tell you, a diet. So, you're talking about if it would work for you, just
I just wonder if
what happens. It's only for elite athletes.
Well, you don't need
when you're expending
for a 9 to 5 person.
But you don't need as much protein. Probably.
That's what I mean.
I'd say your requirements are different,
right? And
also your goals are different, right? Yeah. So that's another thing. So your requirements for protein are different. You would just eat less. But for example, an all meat diet where you're psoriasis. Cirrhosis is the liver, right? Psoriasis, I think an all meat diet would probably clear that right up. I think that things like that work for interventions, for resets, and things like resets, and things like that. And so where I would recommend an all meat diet for somebody is if they haven't been feeling good, if they have some sort of breakout or rash, they got some sort of autoimmune disease that's running them down, they're tired, and whatever. And
that is autoimmune.
And you kind of do an all meat diet for 2 weeks and see what happens and see how you feel. And if it doesn't work for you, just go back to eating normal. There's nothing detrimental that's going to happen to somebody from doing it. I just think it's always worth a shot. And my diet's really simple because if you look at it realistically, I've ended up losing a lot of weight. I've become what we call metabolically flexible. So my body, when you start eating fat for a long time, your body starts producing what they call ketones, and you go into ketosis, right? So if I'm in ketosis half the time and half the time I'm not, I'm what we call metabolically flexible. Mark Sisson talks about this a lot, which means that if I have an apple, I might get kicked out of ketosis, but then the next meal I have a steak and I'm right back in. And so sort of teetering on that edge allows you to keto-ish. Yeah, that's good word. Yeah. It actually allows you to utilize both substrates as fuel.
You didn't high powered keto for a long time.
I loved it.
But you didn't think you could necessarily do it if you had been fighting?
I wouldn't say that. I don't know. I don't know.
I think that, for example, I don't know, like this.
You do keto-ish.
This carnivore thing, I feel like an animal. I would really be interested in seeing somebody do it that fights or something, you know. But like also, you don't want to detract from them. So like if Brendan was like fighting and he's like, you know, Chris, this diet sucks, right? I'd be like, okay, well, like, let's not do it, right? Yeah. But if he felt like I feel like an animal, I feel like put me in the cage. I mean, I'll get killed, but you know, that's how I feel. Yeah. Like mentally, I feel like I am the strongest I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I've never been stronger. And there's nothing else diet wise that I need. Like, I don't feel like if I could just load up on some carbs, I could really have a lot more energy in the gym or whatever. I literally feel the best I've felt. So
and you're taking kratom.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine opiates would make you feel kind of more copacetic than that. They don't make you feel like an animal. They make you feel relaxed.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
Kratom's very similar to the way that opioids feel, but I think like opioids, when you take them, they in the beginning, they get you kind of fired up when you take them. They give you like a little bit of like.
Do you feel that kratom is at all addictive? Could you stop doing it right now?
Yeah, I've stopped it for several weeks. Like I went to Thailand, where it's from, and actually it's illegal in Thailand, which is strange. Oh, wow. What happened was back
let everything fly out there.
Yeah, I know. And then what happened back in the day? Well, speaking of letting everything fly, that's why it became illegal.
Lady boys.
They were
Brendan, please.
It started cutting into the heroin trade. So people would, like the migrant workers, like the cot, they'd be out chewing it, working out in the fields, and all these like day workers out in the fields, they stopped using heroin. And so the government was like, well, nobody's using heroin anymore. Like heroin was on the decline, and the government saw that, so they banned kratom. And for years,
why would the government want them on heroin?
Because they can control all the people. They control everybody, right? So that's why they want them on heroin. But when it cut into the heroin trade, they made it illegal, and then they basically burned down all these kratom trees in Thailand, and now everybody gets it from like Indonesia and stuff like that. But it was literally like, if you look it up, it'll tell you like it was cutting into the heroin trade so much that people stopped using heroin and we're using kratom to get off of heroin.
There was money to
and
be
so
made.
Way back then there was way too much money in it for basically like probably to control the people, but also a big part of it. You're right. The biggest part of it was probably the money.
Yeah, I don't know that. Does Thailand have a big heroin problem? Because heroin's not something you can do casually. You know,
Thailand is like
nobody ever did a lot of heroin,
crazy, so I don't know.
Thailand's the Wild West.
Yeah,
but if you look it up, I mean, that's what I've read about it.
Should I say Wild East?
You silly goose.
The drug addiction's devastating Thai villages. Yeah, so in Thailand it was super popular, and people were chewing it and getting off of heroin, and then they would basically the government put a shun on that, and then now people get it from Indonesia, Malaysia, and stuff like that, and there's giant fields of it.
So
there it goes. Local.
The other thing is that people
kratom.
abuse it over in
hold on. Yeah.
In Thailand, they'll mix it with.
They call it 4 times 100. Kratom contains 4 main ingredients: the leaves of local plant known as kratom, cough syrup, Coca-Cola, and ice.
See, that's the problem. That's an abusive thing. So like now people have made it into the scissor. Yeah.
Scissor.
And the way they do it is they use kratom, Coca-Cola, and cough syrup. Right.
That's that Thai iced tea, son.
Yeah, I'm not talking about doing that kind of shit. Like I don't do any of that.
Yeah,
kind
you
of
don't
stuff.
advocate that.
I don't think. To me, that would probably make me puke. But I just use
or build a village.
The ground up leaf. And a big problem with kratom is the internet. Because you go on the internet and almost everything you read is negative because it's all come from the bad publicity that's been, coming out for years about it because people didn't want you to have it.
Right. But it does seem to be somewhat addictive.
Well, here it says an estimated 1 in 5 teenagers are addicts. Kratom is by far the most popular drug.
I'll tell you about the addiction, right? So it has 2 alkaloids that are the active ingredients. It has metragenine, and it has this other one called 7-hydroxymetragenine. 7-hydroxymetragenine is found in a very, very small amount in the plant. That alkaloid's actually addictive. It's about as addictive as coffee. Okay. The metragenine, which is the main bulk of what makes it up and makes it good for you, like makes you feel good, that is not addictive. However, once you take the metragenine out of the plant, you're like adulterating it. Like it's kind of fucked up. Like
sure.
so it will be better to have take one alkaloid out of the plant, most likely, and just use that. Like, that might be better. But because of the way the laws are and everything, once we do that, then we have to apply for like a new drug thing. And there's a lot of issues with pulling out alkaloids and doing things like that. So just taking it as the raw leaf seems to work well. And then, you have this maybe addiction that's as much as coffee. I don't even feel it's that much. Like, if I don't have kratom, I just don't care about it. Like, I'll forget about it. But if I don't have it and I have to work out that day, it's going to be tough. Yeah. That's the way I look at it.
All right.
Makes sense.
Well, it works for you. Dude, you're like a wealth of information.
You know a lot. The documentary just dropped. Where can people watch it?
It's on iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, all those things where you can rent movies. Anywhere you can rent movies.
Well, you're really talented at what you do, man. You're as good.
Yeah, we've been a fan for a long time. We wanted you on here for a while, man.
I need to watch Prescription Thugs.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Because he was on here talking about Trophy Kids.
Yeah, love Trophy Kids. Love all of them, man.
Yeah, that's important. That's good, man. All right, well, I'm gonna head to.
Let's go get some meat.
I look at him now. I want a fillet. I want a filet mignon.
Me too.
I think you would do amazing on that diet.
Yeah, I think I might try it.
But you're a machine. What do you do now?
Keto-ish.
You do keto-ish?
I go keto strict, usually Monday through Friday, then keto-ish Saturday, Sunday.
Work out with him sometime. Watch how strong he is. It's fun.
Yeah, you're crazy. My brother wants to train with you. We got to get him down here.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
He'll be here the whole month of July.
Really?
Yep.
Let's get together.
Yeah, we will.
Eat some meat.
We'll go and
eat some drugs.
I want to get him out.
No, you're too skinny.
No. Let me. Don't be
Brian. Come on, man.
Come on, bro. Come on, Chris. Let me in, guys.
Well, if we're gonna do something funny, we'll call you. But
all right.
I think we're gonna do manly shit.
Dude, I always tell that story when you and Tim Tebow walked in on me deadlifting 145, and I stopped. I was embarrassed. I was looking how skinny my leg was.
Tebow's awesome.
I got embarrassed.
Great dude. Go check out the doc. He's one of the best doc makers in the world. It's a proven track record as well.
No doubt.
Thank you, guys.
Talented and fucking smart, and you're fun to talk to, dude.
Thanks, man. I'll come in anytime you guys want.
Appreciate it, man. Chris Bell, everybody.
Chris Bell.
Thank you, guys.
Let's do some current events.
Sounds good. Well, do you even know the movie Jackass? Do you know the guys from Jackass?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Johnny Knoxville, Bam Margera, all those boys.
Steve-O's done.
Yes.
I'm friends with Steve-O.
So
he's been on the show, Brian.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah.
One of the guys from Jackass, died. A guy named Ryan Dunn. It was a car accident.
Yeah.
He was hauling ass.
He died in a GT3?
Something like
GT2,
a really nice car. Anyways, Hulk Hogan tweeted with the wrong person in the tweet. So he goes, "Damn, Bam, I wish you were still with us. I sure would love to hang out again, my brother. Love you, miss you, Hulk Hogan."
Hey, and it's a screenshot from his phone.
Fucking hilarious. God
he did this
him.
on Monday.
It's a mistake. Look at big arms are.
That's how he fixed it.
God got Ryan and Bam mixed up. Sorry, Bam.
Well, I'm talking to my buddy Jeremy Fadden, and he goes, "Hey." I go, "Hey." He goes, he calls me, which he never does. I go, "What's up?" He goes, "Jimmy's mom died this morning." I go, "Jimmy Burke." I go, "Fuck." Oh, I called Jimmy. I leave him a message like, I'm choked up. I love his mother. I know his mother really well. I've known her for I'm trying not to cry. I'm like, "Bubba, I'm so sorry about your mother. She's such a beautiful person. I can't believe she died. I don't understand it. She was so healthy. Call me. I'm here for you. I'm coming down to see you." I get a fucking call like half hour later. "Hi, Brian." I go, "Hello." She goes, "This is Jimmy's mom from heaven. I'm calling you to tell you thank you for being so sad." I'm like,
Jimmy?
He was fucking his mom. And he's going, It was Timmy. It wasn't Jimmy. It was my boy Timmy.
That's hilarious.
His mom was fucking retarded.
But the freaking Hulk Hogan, come on, bro.
Oh my God.
Come on, brother. God damn it. What else you got?
Sorry, brother.
All right. Let's see. Let's just do this one. So this is on Barstool Sports. There's a new game called Active Shooter.
That's not in good taste.
Yes. So you can actually be the active shooter, and you can go into schools in this game.
How does
and kill
this get
people.
done? How does
this is so
get made?
offensive to me.
How the fuck does this game get
And you could be the SWAT guy that goes and saves the day.
How does it get done?
I don't know.
And
That's
what
why
platform?
That's why even Barstool's like, they don't want to feel like old fuddies, whatever, but they feel like this is too much too.
Yeah. No shit, it's too much.
Fuck whoever made
You're
that
into
video
kids
game.
being killed, 14-year-olds being shot in the face.
You're also promoting it.
Yeah, and you're promoting it.
And you're
Awesome.
allowed these future
You're an
morons who
asshole.
do it a way to...
The guy's an asshole, man.
That's a game company, Steam.
What? Yeah, fuck
Steam
you,
should
Steam.
be out of business.
Hey, Steam, fuck you.
What a piece of shit.
Just boycott it. Fucking.
Also, everyone should boycott Steam. Everyone should go to their fucking place of business and boycott them.
Fucking, yeah. Ugh.
All right, a little update on Roseanne. You know how she's blaming Ambien? Do you know that she's blaming Ambien?
Yeah, and she has a
for her
history
rant.
of it.
So she's not racist. She blames the Ambien. She's done like really bad things when on Ambien before, like
Also,
throwing stuff.
every
I'm
time,
not an idiot. I'm not a racist. Just an idiot.
So every time she tweets, she's on Ambien. So every time she's ever said something racist or condescending towards minorities, she's on Ambien.
So Ambien, the company, they actually responded to her, and they
Drug
responded
doesn't
via
make you racist.
TMZ, and that's what the rep said from Ambien.
People of all races.
One thing about
religions,
Ambien is when I
and
take it, I fall asleep and I wake up hating blacks.
Oh, it says people of all races, religions, and nationalities work at
Sanofi is a company that
every day to improve the lives of people around the world. Sanofi is the pharmaceutical company under which Ambien is sold. They go on, while all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect by Sanofi medication.
May cause bloody stool and racism.
Wow. I just think Roseanne's an idiot. I think she's a fucking moron. And also, I don't think she wanted to do the show any longer.
What do you think about? So people are talking about having the show go on without her.
Oh, yeah. Do Roseanne without Roseanne.
Dude, well, freaking John Goodman, he's huge.
No, what are you doing? Like,
They mentioned another show called Valerie. Do you remember a show called Valerie? And then the show went on without her.
Sarah Gilbert would be the. They're thinking about Sarah Gilbert being the star of it, but good luck.
it's a bad idea.
But it helps everyone. I don't know. I don't know if it'll
Sure,
do well.
man.
No, it's great for the cast.
One thing people don't realize when a show like this is canceled that's this big, it affects probably
a ton of people.
at least 200 to 300 people.
Yeah. Hundreds. And now it's
Not to mention
ABC,
a whole
right? Now ABC has they're banking on their top summer program. They have a huge gap to
And a
fill.
lead in. And also you wanted the 8 o'clock spot is their spot on Tuesday. The 8:30 spot was amazing.
Big time spot
So-
to follow that. But then also she's going after her fellow coworkers too. Like Sykes, remember Sykes was
Wanda
tweeted
Sykes.
out. She goes, "You're the reason the show got canceled. You made everyone nervous when you tweeted that out." And then she even went on and like her daughter, who plays her daughter on the program.
Sarah
She's like,
Gilbert.
unbelievable, wow, because she tweeted like, "We do not agree with Roseanne."
Yeah.
She's an idiot.
Something's wrong with her.
Well, and
She and from what I hear, she didn't like doing this. Like the show sucked. They thought a lot of the things that was going on she didn't agree with. So
ABC
she didn't like the direction
well,
they're going.
she
in.
made
So I
Sarah
think it's
Gilbert a
little bit of-
producer.
I think it's a little bit of self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Like she wanted out.
Yes.
Oh.
She made Sarah Gilbert a producer apparently because she didn't want to deal with the production of it and stuff. So I don't know.
Well, she
Well,
found
there
her
you
way
go.
out. She's the most hated woman in the world right now. What else you got?
I don't know much about football, but this lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs,
Wow.
he
Good
got
for
his
him.
medical degree
McGill,
while
McGill's the
playing
Harvard
still.
McGill's like the Harvard of
medical
Canada.
school?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
Canada?
McGill's a great school. That's a big deal.
Laurent Duvernay Tardif is his name.
He's juggled dual. Hold up, scroll up for me, Jen. Has dual responsibilities as a guard from Kansas City Chiefs, as a medical student at Montreal's McGill University. Is now free to concentrate
now he can just-
solely on football. He
Yeah.
became a doctor Tuesday when he graduated from McGill's medical school. Damn, that's pretty cool.
awesome.
What a beast.
Yep.
Yep. And I think Tardif might be a Muslim name too. So
He's French Canadian, but he's probably
he's probably Algerian. He's from Algeria.
Laurent D. Tarif.
Yeah.
Laurent Dutrouif.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Since
Awesome.
the day I got drafted, I promised myself I was going to finish my studies and get that MD while I was still playing, which is unheard of. It's one of these life projects that you promised yourself you're going to accomplish, and it's
Hold on. So I might have missed that.
he's
Is
a
he
current
still
NFL
playing?
player, yeah.
He's
Jesus.
current, and he was
That's-
studying
How
and
did you do
I
playing.
thought he was retired. and
How the
got
fuck
it?
do you do that?
I don't know
That's
the
not easy.
story.
Yeah.
This guy's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now you can focus on some foosball and his career afterwards.
Yeah.
Hopefully that CT doesn't kick in. What else you got, Jim?
How about this one? A televangelist. He has already 3 private jets, and he's asking, people that follow him for a 4th private jet because that's what God told him that.
Yeah, there are a lot of ponies.
Yeah,
Can I see this?
just pray on it though,
Yeah.
man. Pray on it for a Ford
May
jet.
I see him talking? Because I'm sure
The
he's
way
very
he asked
sincere.
is awesome too.
He needs 4 jets. What's
7X, so we can go anywhere in the world one stop.
I know this
Hold
guy.
on.
I
We're
know
leaving
exactly
out
this
of our
guy.
brand new Falcon 7X, so we can go anywhere in the world one stop.
So he can spread his message to more places.
he wants a $54 million private
Well, because
jet?
you got it. Because you don't want to stop.
The preacher has already purchased 3 private planes.
Now people say, my Lord, can't you go with this one? Yes, but I can't go at one stop. And you see, if I can do it with one stop, I can fly it for a lot cheaper because I have my own fuel farm. And that's what's a blessing of the Lord.
Oh my God! Believes God told him he needs
It's
it.
in the
Wow.
Bible. It's in the Bible. Ammon causes risk.
Believe me, for a Falcon 7X. So I said, okay. But the first thing I thought of was how I'm going to pay for it. And then that great statement that he told me in 1978 flooded into my mind and said, Jesse, I didn't ask you to pay for it. I asked you to believe for it.
Oh my God!
It's going to help him. spread
That's
the gospel.
basically.
Do you think he's gonna get it?
People, it's going to reach people. It's going to change lives, one soul at a time. I don't want to learn how to fly it. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in preaching the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. That if Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey.
He would not be riding a donkey, dude.
If Jesus was physically
can't
on
get
earth,
anywhere with a donkey.
he would not be riding a donkey.
He wouldn't be riding a side saddle, and he wouldn't be riding a donkey.
God, what a con artist! What a, you know what? You know what's a little crazy? He might get it.
But he gets there faster and cheaper, dude.
It makes sense.
Come on, it's only $54 million. That's not that big a deal.
See, the
gotta
thing is,
make
I get
100
there
million.
quicker. And I got my own source of fuel, so I can spread the word way easier, and I can sit and lecture.
Yeah, and I believe that it's a not like he doesn't get taxed, right? Because
Nope.
it's a church.
Yep.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Wow.
he only has to raise 54. So for me, if I want to buy a $54 million jet, I got to make $100 million, right? So, but not him.
It's hilarious.
This guy.
It's real too. It's
Dude.
actually happening.
Where do I get? Where do I
Hey,
get?
how about,
mine?
is that the church wall where he has his picture of his planes?
Sure is.
He's 3 private planes.
He's a dick.
He's amazing.
He's a dick and amazing.
He's amazing in a dick way.
yeah. He's
He's
amazing.
an amazing dick.
Some con men, and he's a con man.
Oh,
Some
to the
con
fullest
men
extent.
are. And if you're going to be a con man, you got to believe your own con. As an acting teacher told me, con men are the good con men believe what they're saying when they're saying it. You got to believe because then the other person will believe. It's called being a sociopath. It's called being a true pathological narcissist.
It's not about possessions. It's about priorities.
He's amazing.
Now how he goes
I love
on,
the way you
he
redefine things.
Now he goes on. Now how are we going to do that? I can't live long enough to travel by car, by ship, or by train, but I can do it by airplane.
Yep. It's not about possessions.
As he's in a custom
as
suit.
as a 51-year-old man, all my young listeners, please be aware of anybody who speaks in catchy sentences. It's a really, because what happens is you'll start repeating them, and catchy sentences sound true, and you'll just
No,
accept.
do they?
It's not about possessions.
I don't
It's
think
about
so.
priorities. When
I
you're
don't
young,
think so.
when you're young with a charismatic leader, you'll buy it, and that's how charismatic leaders get followers. Banners, slogans, catchy phrases. You can see it
Maybe
all
in
the
the
time.
60s. I just feel now if anyone's rhyming to sell anything, it's wolf tickets. People can
People
smell
do it
now.
all the time, still do it, and they don't smell it. Believe me.
Motivational speakers do it all.
Oh, it's incredible.
Oh, that's the number one thing.
It's incredible.
Everyone's trying to sell that stuff.
You know that the $50 billion man, that guy Dan Pena, who did Rogan's podcast. He's on London Real too. I was like, they say he makes $50 million, but the $50 billion. But there have been people, people on Reddit and people who do like the journalists who do like the BBC. The BBC tried to interview him, but they needed to verify how rich he was. Well, it costs you, I think, something like $20,000 just to pay for a seminar where you go to his castle in Scotland, et cetera, et cetera. But nobody can he can't provide any documentation for what he's really worth. And nobody can find it. And as far as they know, there's just no evidence to that. And the people that take his classes, that stuff doesn't really work. Because, like I'll tell you, I had a short pharmaceutical companies, all kinds of stuff. And those people who take classes, they end up starting their own online thing.
So he has no following?
He's got a big following. But if you actually look at the details, if you actually ask for the real proof of how much he's worth, the BBC couldn't do an interview with him because they were like, we can't verify. There's no way to verify what his net worth is.
Guthrie
But is
cancer.
it a thing where he just doesn't want people knowing his net worth?
Sure. Okay. He's the one who says he's the $50 billion man. So
If he owns a fucking castle, he's doing something right?
sure.
Not $50
In a
billion
remote part of Scotland?
worth.
Okay. Maybe.
I don't know.
Whether he has money or not. I'm sure he has money.
I'm
But
sure he has a ton of money.
yeah.
He's from Jacksonville, Florida.
It's pretty
72.
interesting. There's been some, I read some interesting things about it. That's all. He's a business coach. And a lot of people that have, if you look at people that like the stuff that he's talking about, trying to do that stuff takes a long time in finance to be really good. It's very sophisticated. You're not going to take a fucking week seminar or 3 days and learn it.
And that's what he's saying? He's saying all you need is 3 days?
It goes back to there are 3 things you need to know to create wealth, these kinds of, it's the same shit we talk about.
Everyone's doing it, though.
Yeah.
He's just a really rich guy.
Just be aware of people
I'm sure
who-
he's good at it, but
Be aware
he's
of
not,
people.
and he's just finding a way
They're
to.
just good at really,
No, that's
really
what I'm
good at
saying.
talking.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's no evidence that he's that wealthy. There just isn't.
I bet he's wealthy. If you own a castle, you
You could
got
have
some
$10 million
change.
and have a castle, depending on where it is, right? It all depends. And he makes money now. He makes $20 million,
For sure.
$20,000 a person
Yeah.
who takes his business coaching.
Yeah.
But whether or not,
So he's successful, but maybe not 50 billion successful.
yeah, maybe not even close to $1 billion, maybe not even close to 50 million. That's what I'm saying. There's just, the BBC asked him, they wanted to interview him. He does all kinds of interviews.
And he didn't want to do it with BBC.
A legit place like BBC is not going to interview you unless they've done their due diligence. So it was interesting. I did a little poking around. That's all, because I was like curious. So I listened to him speak.
He had Dave
listened
Asprey.
I've listened to 2 podcasts with him, and I was like, something isn't feeling right. Just my experience. I'm when I watch so much of this online, people who are going to tell you how to get rich.
Oh, but they're
Guru.
feeding on the sheep.
Yeah,
though.
I think
That's
it's all
it.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got, Jen?
How about...
I've never heard of him, B.
Do you guys watch Walking Dead at all?
I used to. I watched the first season and a half, then I fell out of it.
Did you ever watch it, Brian?
Yep.
Oh, you still watch it or no?
Nope.
Okay.
'Cause
I
now
used to
it's-
watch it too.
It's Walking Dead? What's the other one?
Walking Dead.
No, there's Walking Dead and there's
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead, yeah.
I watched that too.
Anyhow, Angelique and the star of it's going to leave next season. And because of that, the other star, Norman Reedus, they're giving him $20 million to stay.
Good for him, man. Get paid.
Damn.
Good for you.
That really worked out for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't want all the guys leaving.
I mean, this
Damn,
is
that dude's
probably the
49
second.
years old?
Yeah, that's another crazy thing.
Holy shit, he looks good.
Saw him the other day in a restaurant.
Wow, he looks
Looks
good.
good. Good actor too.
Set of hair on him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's a hard show to shoot. I watch it all the time. I'm always like,
In
I feel bad
Atlanta?
for those extras who play zombies in that
that'd be
heat in
tough.
Atlanta.
And the makeup.
amount of makeup.
You're in that makeup chair forever.
Ah, and you're standing there waiting. And
And you're also
walking.
like, it's not like, oh, there I am.
No.
No, that's me. Well, that doesn't look like
Yeah.
you.
You're just getting killed and walking. And,
Maybe you've seen me as a zombie
Yeah.
on Walking Dead.
and they're shooting in the outskirts, and I
Oh,
just watch
dude.
them. I'm like,
That'd be a
oh,
beast.
keep that.
I'm not
And
mad
you
at his
gotta
outfit right
And you got
there,
to be
by the way.
really serious all the time. There's no, thank you. No, thank you.
I sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm going to start wearing a blazer. And a
Come on,
turtleneck.
do it.
It's good, dude.
You like that zombie?
Really good. Yeah.
Is that it? Or what else you got, Jen?
You want one more? Or
Sure.
How many more? Okay. Well, this one I have not seen it yet. It's a movie on Netflix.
I did.
It's called
I did.
Veronica.
Saw it last night.
You saw it. Okay, so
Yeah.
you hear everyone talking about like they can't finish it because it's too scary.
That's bullshit.
So this is a
Yeah.
marketing ploy.
Let me type.
Personally-
I'm going to type this in so
personally-
I remember.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought it was just okay.
Just
In
okay.
fact, I got bored.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the last movie you liked, though?
You know
B?
what?
That was
I
scary.
didn't like it.
What's the last movie you liked that was scary, though? Well,
You know what I liked?
we got roasted.
A
For
Quiet Place.
the best movie you've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's so dramatic.
I don't care.
Some guy.
You tell I got to fuck off.
Some guys hold the fuck up. He
I
goes,
mean-
I went there with my girl on date night because you two wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. There's no talking.
It was good, though.
Why'd you text me?
It scared the shit out of me.
Because I need Texone to
But,
remember the name.
okay.
There are a lot of movies that scared the fuck out of me, like The Conjuring.
Conjuring's
great.
fucking
That was
good.
good.
And then what else?
Conjuring 2's all right. Conjuring's really good.
What's the one where they're
Insidious?
dreaming and dreaming?
Insidious.
I saw that. That's
1,
scary.
2, and 3.
Yep. I saw. Come on.
What, bro? Don't even come on.
Where they would sleep and shit would happen when they were sleeping in the house.
Oh, that movie's fucked. Are you
know
scared
that
of that?
movie.
Paranormal Activity. Yeah, it's scary.
Oh, that's
Well,
the
you lost all
Both of them.
credibility.
Both
now.
of them.
Paranormal Activity is such a
My
crock of
wife
shit.
is watching the second one when the girl's up on the fucking when she's up on the fridge. You know how women are supposed to be like like that. I swear to God, she's right next to me, and she flips out when a woman does it. She goes she screamed like a grizzly bear in my ear. I was like, when you get scared, your voice gets deep. I was like, that's not attractive. You're supposed to be feminine.
Paranormal Activity, that's interesting.
Blew my ear.
I was on board to that. Paranormal
What's the
Activity is such a crock
scariest
of
movie
shit.
you've ever seen?
Ever? I mean, Conjuring, when it first came out, was fucking scary.
What's that one with the two sisters, like their little girls? They grew up by themselves
Oh,
and then had a
Mama?
house.
well,
was it Mama?
Orphan was scary. The Shining scared the fuck out of me. Angel Heart scared the fuck out of me. These are old
Angel
movies.
Heart.
The Exorcist, The Omen, scary as shit. those
Exorcist
movies.
is good.
Oh my God, they scared me.
There's some good ones.
Oh yeah.
I'll watch this one, though.
It's in Spanish, I think. So,
Yeah.
I watch a ton of Spanish TV.
and it's also based on a true story. So I don't know if you
Oh,
knew that or
Jesus
not.
Christ.
Yeah, right.
True events or whatever.
I'm a hater.
Fuck off. Fuck
Then you like Paranormal Activity?
Shut up, Brendan. You've been a little harsh on me today.
Have I?
Yeah, you're making fun of my
Well,
looks.
you know, you do look tough. I'm just being
You look
I'm just
tough.
being honest.
How you tough? It's okay. When have I ever been sensitive?
We got a bunch of kratom for you, though.
Hey man, trying to get me addicted?
There's a shitload of kratom over there.
I don't know.
Are you going to start taking kratom?
Sure ain't.
Really?
Why would you?
I
For
really
what,
like
though?
Chris.
I'm not in
I really
pain.
like Chris Bell though.
Oh,
I
you're not
have to
in pain
say
at all.
What pain do we have?
that. Yeah, no.
Are you
Then,
going to take it?
I might as well take
Wait,
it.
you've
then.
been you
Yeah.
talked about it.
That's how we before you
But
guys
what
got
do you
here.
use it for?
I used it originally for pain, but then it doesn't really work for my pain anymore.
So what do you take it for?
Relaxation.
Oh, because you're addicted.
Chill.
So you do
Because you're
take-
addicted.
Addicted. I can go an hour without it, man.
An hour.
Hey man, Chin,
No.
you take kratom?
Yeah.
You were the first one to tell me about
Yeah.
it. I didn't
Dude,
know
you're
what it
doing
was.
drugs. That's what's going on.
That's
there.
not.
Oh, that's why
drugs.
you're a
If it gets
musician with a
if
drug
it's
problem.
illegal, then I wouldn't do it.
Well, it is illegal in
If
Thailand,
it gets
sir.
banned here, then I'm gonna have to stop.
Really?
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
He does. Oh, there's Paranormal Activity is scaring me. Don't turn it off. It's scaring me.
This.
Ah!
That movie costs $13 to make.
It's scary.
It's scary.
Fucking. We watched that movie. What's that movie? The other one. The first one that was ever found where they found the
Blair
footage.
Witch.
Oh, Blair Witch was great.
We watched that.
Blair Witch was scary when you thought it was real.
Yeah.
Watch it when you don't
I
think
know.
it's real.
We watched it, and then my buddy Gavin and Jimmy, they watched it, and then they were like, "Oh yeah," and we were sitting around. And then after like 5 minutes, Gavin just goes, "That movie sucked." He got mad. At
If you think
like
it's
2 hours back.
If you think it's real though, like I remember when it
I
came
thought it was
out,
real.
I went to a theater in Denver, the small, like
genius.
old school theater that was the only one playing it because it was so scary and it was real. Their marketing was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And I was like so fucking scared because when you thought it was real, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But then like months later it came out, it was fake. You watch
Yep.
it now, you're like, this might be the worst
was
movie
scary.
ever.
yes.
Didn't you want to go camping after that though?
Fuck no.
Like with your friends,
absolutely
where you're safe.
not. No.
Okay, never mind. Then.
No.
Scary.
That was really scary. I thought it was.
Oh
real.
yeah.
You gotta catch a plane, B.
Love you guys. I'll see you in Minnesota this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next weekend, we got Raleigh, North Carolina, Good Nights. And then,
You fucking guys, we didn't take a picture with Chris.
shit.
Chin,
Yeah.
we didn't take a picture with Chris.
Oh, you guys!
Dang
I
it.
thought you guys were walking out.
Who the fuck would take
Hanging
the
out.
picture?
No.
Our bad. All right.
We'll have to get one off the.
Talia Hall, July 19th, we added a show. Get your tickets, Talia Hall. See you in Helium, June 21, 22, 23. Brennan, where are you going to be?
We're at the Ice House, June 15th. One show, one night only. That thing's almost sold out. Then June 22nd, 23rd, Houston Improv. Get tickets now, tfatk.com. That's it. This is the Fire Kid. We're out.